Welcome back to GBGuns. Got another Canik the TP9 coming up next on GBGuns. First off, let's take a look at what we get in the box. Now, a lot of these imports tend to come with quite a bit, which is impressive. As our registration card, we get our lock, a mag loader, 2 magazines, 2 different back straps, a roll pin in case you lose the one that's in there, which is kind of nice for the different back straps. Comes with a holster. It's a paddle type. Paddle is up top. I'll show you. We also have nylon brush and cleaning rod and the operating manual, because operators got to operate. Let's see what kind of manual it is. Mostly color photos. Look at that. Full color photos. That's appreciated. The holster, you notice, is a departure from what had been coming with these guns from Century that had the Serpa style. I'm glad they went away from that, because I've seen plenty of arguments where if you're sloppy or quick or stressed, you could end up shooting yourself with those old holsters. This holster is better. It's breakaway and the snap is on both sides, so if you want to run it without the retention, you can. Let's get this out of the way and we'll take a look at the gun. Now, our TP9 came in the bronze finish, which is an interesting color. I'm hoping that's going to come out right on camera for you. Kind of neat, something different. Show clear real quick. And before I get into the gun, I have to cover the trigger system on this. So this is very strongly inspired by one of my favorite guns, the Walther P99. That's a gun I've been carrying for years because of its 3 trigger modes. That's right, I said 3. This TP9 does the same thing. So let me show you the way it works. Let's say you've got a mag in, you've racked the slide. Striker indicator pops out there. See the red dot. It's now in a single action. You have this first pre-travel anti-stress mode. That's the, are you sure you want to do this? Good for defensive use, right? Then it brakes all the way at the rear very cleanly. And something I love about these triggers, watch this reset travel. That's it. So follow-up shots, very quick. This also does double action. So with the striker gone, you have a long, heavy pull for double action. That gives you the chance to strike again in the case of a hard primer. You can also do double action from the get-go if you want by decocking it, just like a hammer-fired gun, with this button up top. See the striker's there, and the trigger is here. Press this button, striker's gone, trigger's in the same spot, but now it's that heavy double action. Well, that's great, but what if I've done that and I really want my first shot to be single action? Well, all it takes is about 1/8 of an inch of slide movement and we're back to our single action. It's that short and easy. If you have any questions about this, please post them in the comments below. I have been shooting this style of gun for years and I love it. I also know that it was greatly misunderstood by the general public when the P99 came out. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. Now that that's out of the way, let's take a look at the gun physically. Coming around the front, impeccably tight slide to frame. Barrel is locked up solid. It's a very square front. We have an accessory rail. No forward cocking serrations, you got a pinch, but it's still doable. A little bit of texturing on the front of the trigger guard for the people who like to have their extra fingers up there. Here's our takedown levers. They're nice and broad and textured, so they don't hurt you like on a Glock. And you've got some texture up here as a memory pad for keeping your finger straight and off the trigger, which is very nice. We also have this relief through here on both sides. I believe you could swap that magazine release if you wanted to. Looks like it's shaped for it. Texturing on the front strap is purposeful. We've got the finer kind of sandpaper grit look on the sides, and then our back strap, which is interchangeable. A little bit of flaring for the magazine well. Enough to make it insertion easy, but not enough to make it huge. This narrowing at the bottom fits into the fold of the hand rather nicely, so I like that. Slide to frame fit on the back end, very snug. We have a U-notch rear sight and a white dot front sight. It is dovetailed and driftable. Very quick aiming system. Very nicely put together. It is like we've experienced with other TP9s. This one just gives you that 3 trigger mode setup. Now let's break it down, field strip, and take a look inside the gun. Before I go too deep into that, I want to say I have shot this gun already, did a quick cleaning of it afterwards, but it's not going to be perfect inside. Also wanted to mention these magazines are produced by Mekgar. It's stamped right there on the side. Plastic follower. Witness windows all the way down to 18 rounds. That's right, this gives you 18 plus 1, 19 rounds. That's quite a bit, and it is more than the P99. So, now to break down, we're going to, just like a Glock, squeeze back a little bit, pull down on the takedown lever, pull the trigger, and the slide comes off. Pretty easy. Looking in the frame, got some metal reinforcement up here for the front rail, and metal in the rear. Trigger system looks very Walther-esque. Surprisingly not complicated for having those 3 features. Our guide rod is steel. I like the weight. I like the strength. The weight, by the way, helps mitigate against muzzle flip. Makes for a flatter shooter. And speaking of flat, this is a flat coil spring recoil, which is great. Our barrel out of there and look at our slide. We can see some of the finish is worn off on the underside of the slide from our shooting. I'm not particularly worried about that. That's the underside of the slide. So our rail and safety. This little guy here is the safety plunger. There's a striker. Nicely machined, very clean. Construction. It is, of course, tough to see any machining marks when there's Cerakote on it, but you know what? It doesn't matter. And our barrel has a target crown. Nicely polished feed ramp. See that shine there? We'll do our check for chamber support, as always, using some Nozzler match. This is about as perfect of 9mm ammo as it gets. Drop it in there, and you can see that we have chamber support all the way around. Very well constructed gun. We'll get this back together and out to the range. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this versus the others, and on this guy versus a Walther P99. The P99s are great guns. They're also kind of hard to find at times, and they cost a bit more. The Caniks and Century tend to keep things a little more budget friendly. So let me know your thoughts on that, and don't forget to click the bell so you know when our shooting impressions video is live. One more detail that I've forgotten, because sadly it's been a while since we've had a handgun, is does the mag release or eject? Looks like we get some ejection there. I like that. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the range.